Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 77th part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma Ively. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 77, Rewound Site. The area was in ruins, some buildings were destroyed but thankfully only minor injuries. However, they had gotten the bad news. Wait, the members of the League of Villains are gone? Asked Mirio. That is surprising fact, said Shoto in a tone that made it seem like she wasn't surprised. Oh no, they got away. I can't believe it, said Ochako sarcastically. Yeah, everyone saw that coming, said Tsuyu. Bombshell, Shoto, we were the ones who were supposed to watching them, said Mirio with a sweat drop. Shoto and Katsuki froze. Shit, muttered Katsuki. Don't worry, these things happen all the time and you won't be blamed, especially with All Might's fight, said the police officer, informing them. Meanwhile, Toga and twice she was making a call telling them what was going with Chisaki, telling them where to go since he was still alive. By the way, the hero kids gave me additional idea for our revenge, said Toga, who then told Mr. Compress, who was on the end, the idea. I am not going to do that, said Mr. Compress. Oh, come on. He deserves it, said Toga. Oh, and if you get your hands on the product, destroy it. What? Asked Mr. Compress. It's evil and it needs to be destroyed, yelled twice and said in a different tone, I can't believe I'm saying this but I agree. Mr. Compress didn't know how to respond to this. It was rare when both sides of twice agreed after all. If there was something up with the drug and both sides wanted it destroyed, it was probably needed to be destroyed. Destroyed. We'll talk about this when we meet up in person, said Mr. Compress. Of course, said Toga. And so the League of Villains would launch an attack on the caravan taking Chisaki to the hospital. The attack would end with a dead hero and Chisaki losing his hands. Sometime later at the hospital, Izuku got a checkup and thankfully he had very minor injuries. He was more worried about Sir Nighteye after all. Once he was given the clear, he headed to his room. I have to talk to him more, maybe I can convince him to still make the bond, there isn't any other. He threw, but then his eyes widened, there might be another way. He found the room where he was being kept in. It was clear from everyone's sad faces in the room. Both of his sidekicks were in the room, along with Mirio and Toshinori. The doctors, including Recovery Girl, said he was going to die soon. I have a way to save him, said Izuku. He already rejected the bond, said Toshinori. No, I have another way, said Izuku, please. They went to his bed, there were live machinery in the hole. Nighteye, I think I have a way to save you. That's not making a bond, said Izuku. What is it? Asked Sir Nighteye weakly. Aries quirk, said Izuku. Sir Nighteye's eyes widened ever so slightly. Izuku was about to say something along the lines of, it might be the only chance or you will die either way. However, Sir Nighteye beat him in saying, do it. Are you sure? Asked Mirio. I'm sure, he said, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. I'm going to die either way. Izuku looked at the clock nearby. He remembered the time the raid started as he activated Aries quirk. He placed his hands on Sir Nighteye as he pictured in his mind a block running backwards. Both he and Sir Nighteye glow. They watched as the machinery in the hole was pushed out, as his arm regrew. When Izuku was done, the horn disappeared as Sir Nighteye sat up. I'm fine, said Sir Nighteye. Izuku took a breath. Yeah, but drain more of my quirks, said Izuku. It drained Mirio's, Aries quirk, All Might's quirk, my human form's wings and Toru's quirk. Wait, didn't the first time you used it just drained Aries quirk, shouldn't it have drained mine? Asked Mirio. I'm guessing it took a lot more energy to rewind a human's as opposed to a caterpillar, said Izuku. Only use it sparingly. said Recovery Girl. It's powerful, but it drains your other quirks. Izuku nodded. Everyone was so relieved. Sir Nighteye jumped out of bed and hugged Toshinori. Toshinori returned the hug happily. And then Sir Nighteye gave Toshinori a full-blown kiss on the lips. And things got awkward. I'm so sorry. I was just relieved at being alive, said Sir Nighteye. Gran Torino's going to be upset he wasn't here for this, said Recovery Girl under her breath. I'll perform a checkup later, said the doctor. I believe most of us need to leave the room, said Centipede. They all left the room, leaving Toshinori and Sir Nighteye to talk. Honestly, it was something they should have talked about sooner. Outside the hospital room. So, it looks like you're not surprised, said the doctor. It's something that's been building for years, said Recovery Girl. Oh Mirio, I was wondering, said Izuku. Oh, I tested it out, I can still use my quirk outside of magical girl mode, said Mirio. Izuku smiled at this. Back in the hospital room, both of them sat silently for a few minutes. I'm sorry. I was just excited and I wasn't thinking, said Sir Nighteye. I had spent a good while thinking I was going to die in. It's all right, said Toshinori. Sir Nighteye sighed, knew he had to confess. I've been in love with you for a long time, even you being a woman didn't change things, said Sir Nighteye. Toshinori sighed. Yeah, I've kind of known for a long time, said Toshinori. I should, said Sir Nighteye. I'm sorry, but, said Toshinori. Our orientations are incompatible, said Sir Nighteye. Honestly, I knew. The two were quiet. So, said Toshinori. I doesn't matter what sex I'm still in love with you, said Sir Nighteye. Toshinori nodded. I still see you as one of my closest friends, said Toshinori. I know, and I don't want to lose our friendship either, now that we not only got it back but I get a second chance at life, said Nighteye. The two were quiet again. But this time when they started talking again, the topic had changed. I'm surprised you took a chance, said Toshinori. I didn't, said Sir Nighteye. What? Asked Toshinori. Remember what I told you when we saved Eri? Asked Sir Nighteye. Toshinori blinked, then her eyes widened. Elsewhere in the hospital, Izuku was checking up on the people seriously hurt. Thankfully, Rocklock was fine despite his stab wounds. Tamaki had gotten quiet the beating but would heal. Kirishima had gotten really beat up and was currently a mummy due to his injuries. Fat Gum had to use a technique that burned all of his fat but was otherwise fine despite the injury he had. Izuku! Called out Eri. He turned around and found Eri running towards him. He caught her in the hug. Is true? Is really true? Asked Eri, that he was captured. It's true, said Izuku. That's such a relief, said Inko, who was with her. Neither one was informed about the League attack. Izuku blinked, remembering something he had to tell her. Eri! There's something I have to tell you, said Izuku. What is it? Asked Eri. I used your quirk, said Izuku. What? Asked Eri, becoming upset. No, it's a good thing, said Izuku. How is it good? Asked Eri. I used your quirk to save someone's life, said Izuku. I used it to make it so he was never injured. Eri's eyes widened. Really? Asked Eri. Really? Said Izuku. Eri knew that Izuku was telling the truth and once again hugged him, crying in joy, knowing that her power could be used to save someone. Back in the hospital room. I saw them telling her something. It was clear form reactions. It was about her quirk, said Sir Nighteye. The second when asked to use her quirk on me, I knew it. I knew it was going to save me. Toshinori smiled at that. I'm still surprised you didn't become a magical girl, said Toshinori. If he hadn't gained a copy of my quirk I would have, but since he gets a copy of my quirk, I really don't want to burden him. He will object to use my quirk for the rest of his life, said Sir Nighteye. Toshinori nodded, getting it. Elsewhere, the League of Villains met up, minus Kurogiri, who was busy with other things. He would be captured during those other things, however. And that's why that drug is evil, said Twice. Both Spinner and Mr. Compress were glaring at the container in disgust. So where's the kid now? Said Spinner. Izuku found her and made into a magical girl, said Toga. Shigaraki growled. Well, that makes sense, said Mr. Compress. After all, it's quite common for magical girls teams to have younger members. The other members of the league all stared at him. Ah fuck, he's back to this, muttered Dabi with his eye twitching. After the events of Kamino, Mr. Compress kind of snapped in a weird way, trying to get the league to embrace magical girl tropes, which made some sense given his aesthetic. But after losing his arm and Mange's death he had stopped. Everyone assumed he had gotten over it, but nope. Now that he had a replacement arm he was back to doing it. Shigaraki once again growled as H placed all 5 fingers on the container. It turned to dust as the bullets inside were destroyed. Did you destroy that because it's evil or because of magical girl reasons? Asked Spinner with a sweat drop. Shigaraki didn't answer. No one was sure if it was one, the other or both, but still the drug was completely destroyed, ending Chisaki's dream forever. That night at UA, the members of 1A returned to the dorm. They had several things to do, including debriefings and paperwork plus some healing in Kirishima's case. The rest of the class had gathered, saying how worried they were and how the fight was on the news. Everything's fine. It could have been a lot worse, said Izuku, but everything turned out or the best. The class all stared at him. How many new partners do you have? Asked Kaminari. What? Asked Izuku. Deku, said Katsuki, face-palming. The way you said it pretty much sounded like you made a bunch of bonds. Sighed Tsuyu. Only one, sighed Izuku, realizing what it sounded like. Really? Asked the class, surprised. Mirio is now a magical girl, said Izuku. I did try to bond with Sir Nighteye, but he declined, but I did use another quirk to heal him. Wait, whispered Kota loud enough for everyone to hear. I used that quirk, said Izuku, and it healed him, but I can't use a few of my quirks for a while, including Mirio's. Kota nodded. Alright, calm down please, said Yayorozu, taking charge as vice representative. What they've been through getting ready for the fight was a lot. Yeah, we know you knew more than the rest of us, said Mina. Everyone could tell when we watched the fight you knew, said Sato. Yayorozu's sweat dropped. She was really angry watching the fight, said Mineta, shivering. They looked at Yayorozu, who was blushing. I might have gotten a bit into the fight, said Yayorozu. After all, she did stumble onto the repeated murder of Eri. You know it's probably for the best if don't tell you guys, said Izuku. Yeah, said Ochako. They wanted to murder the guy because of it, said Toru, motioning the 4 who did indeed want to kill him. They looked at Tsuyu. Whoa! I get Bakugo and maybe Todoroki, but Ida and Tsu, said Siro. What he did must have been bad, agreed Jiro. Hey! What's this supposed to mean? Yelled Katsuki. Come on. Calm down, said Kirishima. Katsuki just glared at the class. Tenya just sighed at this. Then again, no one in the class outside of Bond knew about the whole wanting to murder Stain thing. Yayorozu offered to make some tea, while Kota had let Nina borrow, as he was too shy to it himself, his bunny to give cuddles. though Achiko wanted to cuddle with her boyfriend in his mascot form as opposed to the bunny. As she hugged him, they had this conversation. "I'm so glad you were able to save Sir Nighteye," sighed Achiko. "I know," agreed Izuku, breathing a sigh of relief. Achiko just snuggled with her boyfriend. "Hey, I have an idea to do something with Aries quirk, but it's not on you?" asked Izuku. "What is it?" asked Achiko. The two snuggled and talked quietly as he ran the idea past her. Over the course of the next few days he would run the idea with some of his other partners, but not all. But he still had a few days until Aries quirk returned him at the least. So there was plenty of time to run things by. But there was more to do before then, namely the stuff with All Might. But still Chisaki was defeated and left functionally quirkless, the injuries were kept to a minimum, and Sir Nighteye was alive. Things were really looking at the moment and hopefully would remain bright for quite a while. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.